The morning started like any other for Patches, a 7-year-old German shepherd with a black and tan coat and a nose that could find a needle in a haystack. His handler, Sarah, was already up, brewing coffee in their small apartment near the fire station. Patches lay sprawled on his bed by the kitchen, tail thumping softly against the floor as he watched her move. He didn't know it yet, but today would be the day he'd prove what he was born to do. Sarah's phone buzzed on the counter, and Patches' ears perked up. The way she answered, quick, sharp, all business, told him something was happening. "Collapse downtown," she said, grabbing her keys. "Patches, let's go." In the truck, Patches sat upright in the passenger seat, harness snug, eyes fixed on the road. Sarah's hands gripped the wheel, her jaw tight. "Big one, buddy," she muttered. "Old office building. They're saying someone's trapped." Patches didn't understand the words, but her tone, urgent, laced with worry, made his muscles tense. He was ready. The scene was chaos when they arrived. Sirens wailed, firefighters shouted, and dust hung thick in the air. The building was a skeleton of its former self, concrete slabs and twisted rebar piled like a giant's discarded toys. Patches' nose twitched, catching 1,000 scents. Smoke, metal, sweat, fear. Sarah knelt beside him, clipping on his search vest. "Find him, Patches," she said, her voice steady but her eyes pleading. "Go." He didn't hesitate. Patches bounded onto the rubble, paws finding purchase on jagged surfaces. His training kicked in, scent, search, signal, but this wasn't a drill. The ground shifted under him, and once, a piece of concrete gave way, sending him scrambling. Sarah's voice called out, "You got this, boy," and he pushed forward, nose low, tail high. The scent hit him like a beacon. Human, faint but alive, somewhere deep in the mess. Patches zeroed in, weaving through a maze of debris. His heart raced, not from effort but from purpose. He could feel it, the person was close. A slab of concrete blocked his path, but he squeezed through a gap, claws scraping until he found it. A pocket in the rubble, and inside, a man barely conscious, covered in dust. Patches barked, sharp and insistent, the sound echoing off the broken walls. He pawed at the ground, then barked again, louder. Sarah's voice came from above, distant but clear. "Patches, you got something." He kept barking, tail wagging furiously, until he heard the scrape of boots and the murmur of voices. They were coming. The rescue took hours. Patches stayed close, lying on a slab nearby, watching as firefighters and medics worked to free the man. Sarah crouched beside him, scratching his ears. "Good boy," she whispered, her voice thick. "You did it." Patches leaned into her, panting, his body warm with pride he couldn't name. The man's name was David. He was 42, a janitor who'd been in the basement when the building came down. Later at the hospital, he'd tell the story of hearing a dog's bark, faint at first, then louder, like a lifeline pulling him back from the dark. He'd been trapped for 14 hours, his leg pinned, his hope fading. "That dog," he'd say, tears in his eyes. "I owe him everything." Back at the apartment that night, Patches sprawled on his bed again, exhausted but content. Sarah sat on the floor beside him, a rare beer in her hand, her eyes red from the day's wait. "You're a hero, you know that," she said, rubbing his belly. Patches thumped his tail, oblivious to the word hero, but soaking in her love. He'd done his job, found the scent, saved the man. That was enough. In the days that followed, the story spread. Local news ran a segment on K9 Patches, the search and rescue star. David's family sent a basket of treats and a thank you note, which Sarah pinned to the fridge. Patches didn't care about the fuss. He was back to his routine, training, playing fetch, napping by the kitchen. But Sarah noticed a change in him, a quiet confidence, like he knew he'd made a difference. For Sarah, the moment lingered. She'd always trusted Patches, but seeing him navigate that rubble, hearing his bark cut through the chaos, it hit her hard. He wasn't just her partner. He was her heart, her courage, her hope in a world that could crumble without warning. And for Patches, it was simpler. He had Sarah, he had a job, and he had a nose that could find life in the dark. That was his world, and he'd keep saving it, 1 cent at a time.